Vanessa Oubre, and this is my second speech from my Speech 1315 class. In the early 1900s, Europe was primed for war. As tensions rose, nations held their breath in anticipation of the coming conflict. The only thing missing before catastrophe struck was a catalyst, a spark to set things ablaze. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand was the catalyst for the biggest catastrophe the world had ever seen, World War I. According to an article written by Brian Farmer in 2014, titled Prelude to the Guns of August, World War I spanned 32 countries and took the lives of over 37 million people. I selected this topic because in high school we learned about World War I, but I never quite felt like I understood how it all started. So after extensive research, I now feel like I understand the complexities of World War I, and today I will explain to you the conflicts that occurred in Europe leading up to the assassination plot itself, and the effects of the assassination on World War I. To start off, it's important to remember that though the assassination was a catalyst for the World War, it wasn't the sole reason for the war occurring. Europe was already in a state of political unrest, and out of caution, the major powers of Europe began to form alliances. And at face value, forming an alliance might seem like a peaceful thing, but in conjunction with the turmoil of the time, this felt like a very aggressive move because it very much seemed like the major powers of Europe were taking sides. In history, we remember them as the Central Powers and the Allied Powers. The Central Powers at the time consisted of Germany, the Austro-Hungarian Empire, as well as Italy. The Allied Powers consisted of Great Britain, Russia, and France. And then as the war progressed, alliances grew and shifted as more countries entered the fray, but these were the ones at the very beginning. Additionally, contributing to the unrest in Europe was territory disputes all across the continent. A notable example, though, is whenever the Austro-Hungarian Empire invaded on Bosnia and Herzegovina, and this led to unrest because not only did the residents of Bosnia and Herzegovina feel dissatisfied with Austro-Hungarian rule, but Serbia, the nation to the south of Bosnia and Herzegovina, felt that they had a stronger claim to the territory and thus felt unrest towards the Austro-Hungarian Empire. This event in particular is what led to the assassination attempt. In 1914, 7 residents of Bosnia and Herzegovina decided to attempt an assassination on the life of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne. The idea behind the assassination attempt was to spur a revolution against the Austro-Hungarian Empire. So, since the Archduke was going to be traveling to Bosnia and Herzegovina and participating in a vehicle parade on a predetermined route, the 7 men planned to be stationed along the route, and each of them was going to commit an attempt to assassinate the Archduke, so they had a fail-safe in case any of them messed up. Now where it gets interesting is considering this is such an important event in history, it almost didn't happen. According to a peer-reviewed journal titled Warn the Duke by Paul Miller, published in 2019, the first 6 assassins along the route failed in their attempt. It wasn't until the end of the parade route that Gavrilo Princip succeeded in firing the killing shot that is now known as the spark that started World War I. Before the assassination, Austria-Hungary was already planning to invade Serbia, but when it came to light that the men responsible for the assassination of the Archduke were mostly Serbian nationalists, this served as the excuse that Austria-Hungary needed to invade Serbia. On July 28, 1914, Austria-Hungary invaded Serbia and began World War I. Now stick with me here because here's where things get a little complicated. The article written by Brian Farmer in 2014 chronicles the order of the events that followed. Since Russia had shared political interests and ethnic backgrounds with Serbians, Russia mobilized against Austria-Hungary. And then, since Germany was an ally of Austria-Hungary, they declared war on Russia. Additionally, Germany declared war on France on on the grounds that they were an ally of Russia. In order to attack France, Germany invaded Belgium to reach France, and in doing so, they violated neutral territory because Belgium was neutral at the time. Thus, Great Britain intervened on behalf of Belgium and attacked Germany. These events are a few examples of many that illustrate the rapid progression of the war across Europe. And it didn't stop there. The progression continued across the boundaries of Europe and involved other world powers, such as the Ottoman Empire and the United States. The novel titled Entering the World Stage, World War I and its Aftermath, written by Eric Schwartz and published in 2004, discusses how the United States became involved in the war. German submarines were attacking American ships, thus the United States joined the Allied powers in opposition to Germany. The combined efforts of the Allied powers resulted in the eventual defeat of the Central Powers in 1918, concluding the war. Looking back, we can see that there were certainly many factors in the build-up to World War I, such as alliances between major powers, territory disputes across the continent, but it can all be traced back to the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Despite the devastating losses that occurred in this war, it wasn't the last of its kind. Within the same century, World War II occurred, and it was even more devastating than World War I. It's important that we study and remember these tragedies so that we can prevent them from ever occurring again. Thank you for your time.